The battlefield stank of smoke, scorched metal, and the coppery tang of blood. Elias staggered to the ruined village, his uniform tattered, rifle clutched in one hand. His platoon had been scattered by the alien raiders, vicious brutes from the Zarak Dominion. He had lost sight of his comrades in the chaos. That's when he heard it, the cry of a girl. He stumbled toward the sound, vaulting over a toppled wall. There, surrounded by 3 towering Zarak warriors, was a slender alien girl. She couldn't have been more than 20 in human years. Her violet skin shimmered faintly in the firelight, and her silver hair, tangled with ash, marked her as someone of noble blood. She clutched a curved blade in trembling hands, its hilt carved with ancient runes. But she was cornered. Without thinking, Elias raised his rifle. The weapon spat fire, dropping one of the raiders. The other 2 roared, advancing. He rushed forward, swinging his gun like a club, until claws raked across the barrel, snapping it in 2. Elias fell back, scrambling for anything he could use. His eyes landed on the alien girl's sword. She had dropped it in panic. He seized it. The weapon thrummed in his grip, like it was alive. His muscles burned, but some strange energy guided his swing. The curved blade sliced clean through the chest of the second raider, who collapsed in shock. The last one snarled, but Elias was faster. He spun, driving the glowing edge straight to the monster's throat. The battlefield fell silent. Elias gasped for air, staring at the blade in his hand. It pulsed with warmth, almost like it was breathing with him. The girl's wide, luminous eyes locked on him. Then she whispered a single word, voice trembling as if she could scarcely believe it. "Husband." Elias blinked. "Wait, what?" The girl dropped to her knees before him, bowing her head. Her voice was soft, reverent. "You wielded the sword of Kael'thir. No outsider may touch it without being chosen. And only a chosen one may become the husband of our clan's heiress." Elias froze. I didn't know. I was just trying to keep you alive." Her cheeks flushed a deep violet, but she did not lift her head. "It does not matter. The vow has been sealed. You are bound to me now." He laughed nervously, trying to shake it off. "Bound? Look, lady, I'm just a soldier. I don't know anything about your vows or clans or swords. I'm just trying to survive long enough to find my unit." Finally, she raised her eyes. They shimmered with both sorrow and determination. "You do not understand. The sword has spoken. You cannot set it aside now. If you try, it will burn you. Until death, you are tied to me." Elias glanced at the sword again, its glow curling around his fingers like smoke. He tried to drop it, but pain lanced up his arm. He winced, clutching his wrist. "Great," he muttered. "Guess I'm married to a stranger." Her name was Serenya of Clan Kael'thir. She explained as they moved through the ruins together. The sword he now carried was the soul of her people, a relic said to be forged from the heart of a dying star. Only a bonded mate could wield it without being destroyed. For centuries, it had remained within her clan's bloodline. And now, through accident and desperation, Elias carried it. He kept insisting it was a mistake. But every time the thought of discarding it crossed his mind, the blade thrummed angrily in his hand, burning his palm until he relented. "Wonderful," he muttered as they trekked through the ashes of her village. "I came here to fight a war, not get drafted into a marriage contract." Serenya walked beside him, torn between indignation and quiet awe. "Do you realize what you've done for me? For my people? Without you, I would have fallen, and the Zarak would have extinguished the last heir of Kael'thir. Our line would have ended." Elias sighed. "Look, I didn't do it for titles or swords. I just couldn't stand by while someone got slaughtered." She looked at him then, really looked at him. A flicker of respect softened her features. Night fell. They found shelter in a ruined temple, where shattered pillars leaned like broken teeth. Elias built a fire, while Serenya sat cross-legged, watching the flames dance. "Tell me," she asked quietly, "what sort of husband are you, Elias of Earth?" He chuckled, the kind who didn't sign up for this. But when he saw the shadow in her eyes, he softened his tone. Back home, marriage is about choice. Two people deciding they actually want each other. not some sword binding them. Serenya touched her lips, thoughtful. Choice. That is a luxury my kind rarely know. Our bonds are dictated by duty, lineage, tradition. I never imagined I would be bound to a human. He shrugged, trying to smile. Neither did I. A silence stretched between them, broken only by the crackle of fire. For the first time, Elias noticed how fragile she looked. Slender frame shivering under torn silks, silver hair spilling like moonlight across her shoulders. She had lost everything, yet she sat tall, shoulders squared, refusing to break. He admired that. The days that followed forged them together. They scavenged supplies, evaded Zarak patrols, and fought side by side when they had to. Elias found himself relying more and more on the sword. Somehow, it answered his instincts, guiding his strikes, lending him strength he didn't know he had. Serenya trained him in its use, correcting his clumsy swings, teaching him the stances of her people. Sometimes, when their hands brushed during lessons, her cheeks flushed, and she quickly turned away. Elias, for his part, tried to ignore the strange warmth that lingered afterward. Yet the bond was undeniable. Each night, when he slept, he dreamed of her voice, her heartbeat. Each morning, he woke with the certainty that protecting her was no longer just duty. It was something deeper. Still, he told himself it was only the sword's influence. One evening, after a brutal skirmish with Zarak's squad, Serenya collapsed beside him, bruised and exhausted. He caught her before she fell, holding her against his chest. Her eyes fluttered open, gazing at him. "Elias," she whispered, "you risk yourself again and again, not just because of the sword. Admit it." He swallowed hard. The truth burned in his chest, impossible to deny. "You're right. It's not just the sword. I want to keep you safe. Always." Her lips trembled, then curved into the faintest smile. Then perhaps choice has found us both, after all. Weeks later, when reinforcements finally arrived, Elias stood at the gates of a rebuilt Kael'thir stronghold. Soldiers saluted him, not as a stranger, but as a sword-bearer. Serenya stood at his side, radiant in ceremonial robes, her hand slipping into his. He thought of that first night, the fire, the vow he hadn't chosen, the bond he hadn't understood. Now, as her people chanted his name, he realized he wasn't afraid anymore. The sword had chosen him. But more importantly, so had she. And, against all odds, he had chosen her too.